And welcome back to the marketplace. Facebook Incorporated is in court battling an antitrust case. The social media giant on Monday asked a judge to dismiss the U.S. government's revised antitrust case that seeks to force the social media giant to sell Instagram and WhatsApp. Now, Facebook said in a court filing that the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, had failed to provide a plausible factual basis for branding Facebook an unlawful monopolist. That's the word. Now, the company added it appears that the FTC had no basis for its naked allegation that Facebook has or had a monopoly. Now, yesterday's blackout of Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram has resurrected the conversation of the risks of Facebook's monopoly. Let's show you some of the comments on social media on this subject. This one from Edward Snowden. I think we just lost that one. But a number of comments coming through on social media from Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who says Facebook's massive outage Monday was a reminder of its monopoly over communications and another indicator. We lost that one. Look at this one from Edward Snowden. Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram all going down at the same time. Sure, seems like an easily understandable and publicly popular example of why breaking up a certain monopoly into at least 3 pieces might not be a bad idea. Somebody should just tell Elizabeth Warren. So those are some of the comments coming through on this subject. But joining us to discuss this further is Henry Kobler, who is lead for ISO of Africa, with some perspective on this as well. And so Facebook has to deal with concerns that it has become too powerful and enjoying a monopoly. You agree with those who think that Zucker should be forced to sell WhatsApp or Instagram, Henry?
Thank you very much, Daryl. I think that when it gets down to selling of a company, usually when you've actually had to do a lot of work to get it to the ground where it's actually paying the dues it should, it's sometimes a bit difficult, especially when you feel that some people just want to come in and benefit from what you really want to get it. Facebook is already on the market. It has shares almost on there, so people sort of can just grab them. But the point is that it's actually on this trail because of its monopoly that it's actually having on the communication sector for us. But I think that there are also other platforms that are also coming up. And I feel that it would be rather better off if some of these policies are actually more targeted to giving these other platforms the power to sort of come into better competition rather than trying to force somebody down the line, because it's actually a very big difficulty when it gets down to getting people selling off shares, major shares in their companies, because it's actually playing a monopoly. I mean, every company really wants to get to that monopoly side on one way or the other. And so it's sort of their target. If you've looked at Facebook, Instagram, for some time now, they realized that they're actually incorporating competitor features into their platform. That's supposed to tell you that they are still looking at other competitive platforms, even when they come with innovative ideas, just so that they don't really go down. And so their main objective is to play the monopoly because that's where the money is. And so I feel that most of the policy or most of these court battlings should actually be channeled, and a lot of that energy should be channeled onto other platforms that have equal opportunities. I mean, if you've looked at Telegram, it's doing amazingly well. The only thing that is not up for grabs is the numbers that are sitting on the platform. And so it's an equal, huge competitor to WhatsApp, even if you're looking at the features that are there. And so if some level of leverage is given to people, some parts which comes in terms of policies, are actually ignited for some of these competitors, I think will be a better part for us.
Yeah, exactly my thoughts. I mean, this is an equal playing field. How then is Zucker to blame for the fact that he has been able to expand his scope? And you wonder, where were those concerns when he was making the acquisitions? And I also want to ask you about the concerns that if you allow Zuckerberg to be powerful, it will affect the global economy.
Daryl, so one of the things that I always say is that business is powerful. And so the people that really get into the business part and get to learn the dynamics always would be powerful. I mean, we're actually at the early stages of tech and its innovations and how powerful it could actually be towards government, towards policy making, towards citizenry and all that. I think that the thought should be that how does the government reorient itself to actually be enacting policies ahead of some of these technological developments? I think that it becomes one of the most important things that people that are protecting us, which is actually the government, should actually position itself to be looking ahead of technology rather than waiting to have technology precede regulations. And I can tell you this, I mean, with the invent of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, some of these things you can't control. And so you, on the protective side, should rather be looking into the future, doing predictive analysis. I mean, setting up proper research and research departments to be looking at some of these things, and then actually just getting along with the technology rather than wait for these guys to actually be powerful enough, because they just only go with innovation. I mean, as much as possible, they pay so much to get research done. They actually invest a lot of money. They buy out companies. The main aim is to stand out. The main aim is to just be powerful. And that comes in. So the people that will protect the citizenry, the people that will protect other businesses, other interests, financial interests, should be looking at also setting up some of these research and development sectors that could actually precede some of these technological advancements. I mean, some of these techs, there are lots of predictions that come around it. And so we could always just do a lot of research to be able to know that these are what is coming up. I mean, for an example, like I mentioned, cryptocurrency is up and running. There are a lot of people that are just jumping on it. If you want to wait for crypto to be everywhere and say crypto is powerful against the banks, then you're really not doing us good. You rather have to make sure that you actually just understand the tech, understand what's going to come in, enact policies, put in, a lot of funding into getting competitor platforms coming up, and also just get along with it. I think that should be the way to go, rather than trying to push other people because they become powerful. Tech is the new thing, and so you can't necessarily say that because it's the new era for it and it's actually taking advantage of what it could, you're going to push down on them. I mean, that's business. Everybody enacts its business in the way they want. And I can tell you one thing for sure, that usually when it comes down to technology, there are lots of dynamics that's going to play against some of these competitors. But the government and the CSOs and all that could actually just come in. I mean, put in white papers how we could control some of these things. I mean, I can tell you for a fact, China's not faced these problems because they made a policy to say that, look, because there's that due monopoly, we're going to make our citizens also create some of these platforms, and we're going to use them in China. China didn't experience WhatsApp going down. It didn't experience Facebook going down yesterday. It was normal as everything. And so it comes back to the fact that we, as people protective, could actually just put in a lot of measures to control some of these things.
What's your gut feeling about how this plays out in the end? Do you think Mark Zuckerberg is going to survive this? Plus, what does this do to innovation? You talk about it for entrepreneurs. Mind you, he started from very small and now he's very big.
Exactly. So, like I keep saying, usually it's about adapting technology early and trying to create solutions towards it. So we didn't get to the era of the 20s when technology was coming up, but we are in the era of e-commerce, and that's a bigger one for us, for leapfrogging for a lot of African entrepreneurs. There's cryptocurrencies that is coming in. There's a lot of machine learning and artificial intelligence. I think that our universities should start orienting themselves towards teaching some of these advanced courses for some of our the people that are getting into technology. I think that we are actually at a point where we can leapfrog and take advantage of the technology, because within the next 50 years, that's what's going to play out. And so entrepreneurs and all should actually just grab technology and run with it. We shouldn't wait for the tech to be all over, wherein, I mean, most of the platforms will actually be foreign owned and all before we actually jump in. I think that Mark is really going to be more powerful. And not just him, there are a lot of companies that are actually going to be powerful, especially because most of these companies are actually dealing with our data left, right, center. And so one of the things that we could do is to look at how, as Africans, as Ghanaians, as people that are also interested in using this technology, we get to enact policies that are going to be on the top of putting some of these powerful companies on their toes to do what is right. Because if you don't do that and you leave them up, I think it's going to be a problem.
We just have a minute, Henry. So I just want to ask you, how were you able to survive the blackout for 5 hours? Because I know you do a lot of stuff on social media.
I think that we had to use alternative platforms. We've always had to use alternative platforms in terms of communication, especially for corporate entities. So we used Slack. Telegram has actually been powerful for us in terms of the way we secure some of the messages we send up and down. But I think all through, it's more about how people get too addicted to some of these things. As tech people, really, I tell people that sometimes practice that point where you can put your phone down away for some hours. If you're using iPhones and Android, you realize that there are lots of applications that are actually now on to help you manage your screen time. I think that as much as tech is actually beneficial for us, we should actually also realize that it's addictive. And so we should actually also put in personal measures that could be able to keep us away from some of these platforms, not entirely spending all our lives and energy on the platforms. I think I was okay. I really didn't panic because I realized it's actually part of it. But I think that people should be careful in the way they use technology as well, not to get too addicted.
Henry Kobler, thanks so much for coming through for us. Appreciate your thoughts this afternoon. And that's the marketplace. Thanks for watching, everyone. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwao. Goodbye.